The Waikiki Business Improvement District Association is a perfect example of what happens when people work together. When you get the community working with the businesses, working with government, there's no problem that we can't solve.
The Waikiki Business Improvement District Association was formed to supplement services to the city and county of Honolulu to keep Waikiki safe and beautiful.
The Business Improvement District also works with other organizations to make sure that everyone is toward the same goal, whether it be the Waikiki Neighborhood Board, whether it be the Beach Improvement District, the police department, the city and county. So everyone works together collaboratively to make sure that we're on the same page.
It's many, many different hotels and organizations and businesses that have to somehow coexist and work together. We're fortunate to have the bid to tackle these challenges of management and governance and communications and coordination.
We call it the BID, right? WBIDA has a very, very singular purpose, and that is to maintain a safe, clean, really active area for Waikiki as a destination, not only for our hotel guests, but also for the residents.
Waikiki originally was deemed suburban. It was for single-family homes. That's why you see a lot of the roads in Waikiki are very narrow, especially in the Kuhiwa-Alawai side. But throughout the years, we all saw what's special about Waikiki, and we all kind of want a piece of it.
I think between Kalakaua and Kuio, they're reported to be the busiest streets in the entire state. With that kind of wear and tear comes a lot of upkeep, and that's where WBIDA has come in through and just made a big difference.
The bid is truly a public-private partnership because it is a relationship where we have the services to maintain the streets and the sidewalks, but the bid can help us by taking the money that they get from the tax revenue and making things that much better for the people.
The Business Improvement District relies on a extra tax, if you would, that the businesses themselves have agreed to pay in order to provide supplementary services to a very high traffic business area, and which of course Waikiki has the highest traffic in the state. And so what that means is that the business community has been willing to step up and pay for those additional services that keep the sidewalks clean, the landscaping in good shape, the hospitality core on the street, to make Waikiki that destination that can provide that economic support to Hawaii and also to be welcoming to both our residents and our visitors.
It's important for the businesses to invest in the community because when they are investing into the community, they're really investing in themselves because they become part of the community.
Waikiki is our backyard and front yard. It's important as owners take ownership in the places that we do business because we all benefit.
Waikiki was known for being, concrete jungle and very kitschy, very touristy. So we were out to prove otherwise. Having the WBIDA formed, even after Waikiki Improvement Association, which did a lot for the improvement of the ambiance and perception of what Waikiki was back in the 80s even, has been tremendous. I would like to believe that globally people see Waikiki more as a safe and clean environment. And as a destination, that's critical, especially in today's world.
20 years ago, it might have been a challenge to self-impose some fees on yourself. But in looking back, I think there's a lot of improvements that have been made that wouldn't have been made had we not put that forward.
Believe me, it seems like a no-brainer today, but at the time, there was no guarantee we would be able to set up the improvement district you see today. The beginning was 1997, 1998 time period. We actually had a task force on what we needed to do for Waikiki. It came out of the Economic Revitalization Task Force that Governor Kaitano put together. And at the time, there were a number of champions in Waikiki, and Outrigger probably being the foremost. And they believed that creating an improvement district for Waikiki would be one of the ways that we brought Waikiki back to greatness. We needed to make Waikiki sparkle again.
25 or so years ago, Waikiki was in serious decline. Residents weren't happy at the same time with the state of Waikiki. And so it was through this realization that we decided we had to do something as a community. Government alone can't do it, and we'd like to be able to have a more participatory role in that. And Just the establishment of an entity like this required first changing or amending state law.
We had to create the ordinance at the city and county level allowing for improvement districts. And then we created the Waikiki district. So the two bills moved forward in tandem. And of course, we had to just be very careful that the first bill passed first because you had to have the enabling legislation in place before you could create the Waikiki Improvement District. We had some opposition. We couldn't get it through the Senate the first time around. We got it through later with the support of then Senate President Norman Mizoguchi, who was very instrumental. So once that passed, the next step was to be able to develop the whole concept for Waikiki. And there was a segment that wanted it to just be a very small area to start with. But as we looked at the whole situation, I believed it made a lot more sense to do all of Waikiki as a package. And then the problem became, well, who pays what? Then at Queen Emma, our representative was Mike Walsh, and he was the one who originally came up with the formula that they use to today. The service corridor, that had the highest rate. The immediately adjacent beach area was the next rate, and then the balance of Waikiki, which benefits because the core is improved, but doesn't directly get the services.
Many years ago, when the bid was first proposed, I was contacted, actually at that time by Eric Masutomi, who asked us to assist with the mapping and the assessments based upon different types of scenarios. So my department has been very much involved in the bid since its creation. I think what's really important is that you can't manage what you can't measure. Part of what we do is we collected baseline data on the conditions in Waikiki. This has been a largely a data-driven exercise, that data and information can be used to improve the planning, management, operations of the bid. And part of it is you know, how do we get it right? How do we improve it? How do we not just sustain things as they are, but how do we make things better? And that's what's been special and important about this partnership between the bid and the University of Hawaii.
We had visited a number of different business improvement district associations before embarking on this effort. So we went to places like LA, San Francisco, chatted extensively with New York City. And so we learned a lot of lessons. It was not a template of what they did. We really adapted to suit what we needed here in Hawaii. The programs you see today, the Aloha Ambassadors, the street maintenance crews, is a result of evolution. The major surprise was we did not realize it would be that difficult to find quote-unquote Aloha Ambassadors.
Originally, the thought was that the Aloha Ambassadors would have more of a security role. To be honest, I don't think we ever had it working well until we brought in block by block.
In most cities, you have downtown cores, sometimes they're tourist centers, and if they're vibrant and healthy, it really lifts the whole community around it, the rest of the city, and sometimes even the state. And so we really started thinking through how to make the experience really represent the community here, which is a spirit of aloha and one of great pride, really, for the islands. And so we really wanted to hire teams from here that understood the islands and what was important, and I think we delivered that. When we started here, 2010, 2011, there was really different dynamics throughout the district. It wasn't as activated on Kuhio at the time. There wasn't as many hotels. There was more nightlife. When you think about somebody who's not familiar with the area and walking through certain types of activity, it just makes them nervous. And so just having a friendly face out there that can, make somebody, feel like, okay, somebody's here watching this, managing the situation, but also engaging with, some of the people who are struggling. And I think that's a big, important part of what we do.
Waikiki, even though it's only 1 square mile, we have over 100,000 people every day, basically, between visitors, residents, and employees. And really, any given day, we only have 10 to 12 officers. Sometimes we have officers on foot, but that is a challenge, just managing so many people in such a dense area. What WB brings is that intimate knowledge of the area. Again, it's 1 mile, but there's a lot going on there. And the Aloha Ambassadors, they're our eyes, so they're a huge help.
Over the years, when I've seen the partnerships the WBID has made with the city, with the police department, with social service agencies, and to be able to really kind of leverage their positions for action for everybody in this collaborative spirit, right, I think has been amazing.
What's happened over the past 20 years or so from the standpoint of Waikiki as a community that includes residents, tremendous amount of goodwill has been developed over those years, not merely because of the Waikiki BID, but I think that sense of this is our home, I think has really taken hold. Just in terms of mission and success in meeting that mission, I think we hit it out of the park. I really do.
The founders of the Waikiki Business Improvement District and the chairs prior to me really made my job a lot easier. And I owe a debt of gratitude to all the people that came before me.
The former executive director, Jan Yamane, really managed and set direction for the Waikiki Business Improvement District Association for so long. We all suffered a great loss when she passed away, but she's truly a great leader, a great visionary, and someone that could deliver on the mission.
Thanks to her organizational skills and collaborative skills, I think that put us on the map really quickly for being known as an organization that works together. And I think Jan was absolutely brilliant in that respect.
The organizations that really do the most collaboratively and draw on their partners to kind of make this a community lift, right, to do things, they're the most successful. And so I can't commend them enough, even in past leadership and going into current leadership and future. I think that they're very well set up.
I'm really impressed by the leaders that we have today. They're not satisfied with just doing the same thing they did this year a little better than they did it last year. They're looking at other areas where the Business Improvement District within their scope can improve Waikiki every day.
I've represented this area and I've worked and played in this area as a young man, and I've seen the difference over the 20 years that the Waikiki Business Improvement District has done. And I'm just so thankful. It's about aloha, and they have it. We have it. Local people, we're sharing aloha, and the Business Improvement District has done exactly that.
Really a big mahalo to Jennifer and her team, and she's been a real big collaborator, and that's so important for us to make sure that we keep Waikiki as beautiful and as inviting as it was many years ago, and we could do many years into the future.
It's a great example of a public-private partnership. In that regard, it almost could be a template, if you will, in other situations. And so it's always great to have a wonderful success story to look back on to prove that it can be done. And in this particular case, it's proof positive that it can be done and done very well.
If you didn't remind me it was 20 years, I would have thought we just started this about 5 years ago. It's been wonderful. So to Jennifer and the board members, as well as the standing members for Waikiki, warmest congratulations and best wishes for another easy 20 going into the future.